If you are feeling empty, good. You have to develop a strong sense of ego before you can deconstruct it. The feeling of emptiness can be caused by different reasons, and all of them, in one way or another, are correlated to the existential questions that pop up in our heads during the difficult times, most often than not. Whether you feel lonely in a crowded space, thinking that you should have the time of your life, having so many friends, broad social circle, surrounded by people all the time, loving you, yet you feel empty, you feel alone, and you cannot seem to comprehend where that feeling is coming from. Or maybe you are well off and people would die to take your place. Being well off and well fed, you seem to be too bratty, complaining about life, about emptiness, about hollowness of your existence. But people don't understand what they don't feel. Anyhow, regardless of why you are feeling empty, it's normal. Many of us go through these feelings, and many of us try to understand what they originate from. But very few of us dig deep enough to get the gist of the situation. Here we will be talking about the reasons why you might feel empty, and understanding those would of course help you to get out of your own rut. Let's see what we can learn here.
Without further ado, here are 4 possible reasons why you feel empty all the time. 1. You don't know who you are. A lack of insight into yourself might be responsible for the feelings of emptiness you are experiencing. When you lose touch of who you are, what you want, and who you want to be, it can cause you to feel as if you are aimlessly coasting through life with no purpose. Are you losing yourself to your work or your relationship? Do you dedicate all your time to your job, or spend it all with your friends and family just to make sure they're happy? Every once in a while, though, it's good to take some time out for yourself.
So when you are so busy, when you are chasing the dream, the practicality, the pragmatism of life, you get an education, a career, you get a partner, you have a family, you have children. You put your all efforts externally out there, gaining all of the material stuff that you ought to have in this life, right? Wrong. That feeling of emptiness is your authentic self knocking from the inside, trying to reach to you, making sure that you are not forgetting him. That feeling of emptiness is you lacking fulfillment, soul connection to the reality, to divinity. And that is only reached when you listen to yourself and follow your own curiosity and exploring life. And that can be only done when you get to know yourself from a deeper perspective.
Have some quality alone time for you to reflect on your inner thoughts and feelings, and reevaluate your values and beliefs to establish a stronger sense of identity.
Also, I have to add here that yourself is not a static thing. It is always evolving, developing, and becoming something new. So getting to know yourself is not a final destination, one-way ticket. Getting to know yourself is a lifelong progress. What that really means is to follow your own intuitive and be sure that your external mission is aligned with your internal vision. Getting to know yourself is a spiritual process, so make sure to take time and prioritize the process of acquainting yourself with yourself as much as possible.
2. You don't have any meaningful relationships. Another reason why you might be lonely and distraught is because you feel isolated and detached from those around you. According to a 2003 study by Watkins, Stone, and Colts, our relationships are the most important determinants of our happiness. However, it's not simply the quantity, but the quality that matters as well. It's not the lack of relationships that make us feel lonely, but the lack of intimacy. You may have people you see and talk to on a daily basis, but if you can't share a laugh with them or have a personal conversation, then it's not much of a relationship.
I would like to chime in that this disconnect with other people and longing after intimacy is not something that is set in stone. Being lonely just because you feel that you lack intimacy is also a projection of an ego. Yes, we have evolved as social creatures, but that's also a concept. There's something beyond us being creatures. And when you get past that, when you accept your loneliness, you will never feel alone, regardless if you have people surrounding you or you being with yourself at long periods of time. The lesson here is that yes, we would like to have people to connect with, to learn from, to grow with, but the reality is that what we want, what we wish for, is not always the reality of our living situation. Just because I want to have a lot of new friends or get a new partner doesn't mean that I will be able to do that by the blink of an eye. You attract what you are. And paradoxically enough, as you become friends with your loneliness and enjoy your company to the fullest, people start to gravitate towards you because you will emanate a lot of positivity and life energy. You get rid of loneliness by embracing it.
It's good to have a small circle of people in your life you can open up to, be comfortable around, and enjoy spending time with. Be it a friend, relative, or romantic partner, we all need people in our lives to make us happy. It's not being popular or well-liked that brings people joy, but the emotional bonds of closeness they feel towards each other.
Also realize that just because people are in your life in the moment being doesn't mean that they will be there at all times indefinitely. This is why attaching yourself to others is very dangerous. I don't mean to close yourself off emotionally. What I mean is for you to understand that everything is impermanent in life. Things tend to have a beginning and things tend to have an end. By being present at all times will make sure that you enjoy the moment and won't cling to it in the future, and will cherish the moments as they were without longing back to them in this existential nostalgia while feeling bad for your present situation.
3. You haven't made peace with your past. The emptiness you feel right now may be a sign that there's some unresolved feelings lingering from your past. A lot of the time, people feel most lost and alone after a significant loss, breakup, or failure. This is because they mistakenly let themselves believe that someone or something, whether it's a romantic partner, best friend, hometown, university, or achievement of some sort, define them.
This goes back to previous point where we want to build meaningful relationships and bonds with other people. And in this case, when you lose them, you cling to the past and think that part of you have died because you have defined yourself, your own persona, as being something including that. And when you lose that, you lose a part of yourself.
I've lost my mojo!
And you feel empty, you feel hurt, you are suffering. So these 2 points have a clash. This is why you have to learn to accept things and float along the life as it is without resisting. A blissful life lacks control.
And now, they don't know who they are without it, or what to do now that it's gone. While it's easier said than done, we should all learn not to stay hung up on our past and move forward with our lives. Dwelling on your regrets and wasting your time with self-blame and self-pity won't do you any good. You need to make your peace with whatever it was in your past that's holding you back and refocus your attention on the here and now, being present in the moment. Forgive yourself and allow yourself to grow and heal.
This is easier said than done. And I totally agree with this statement. You have to let your past go. Your past doesn't define you. You are not your past. Who you were 10 years ago is not the same person who you see in the mirror this morning. The problem is people start to identify themselves with their past, with their suffering, with their pain. And letting go is getting rid of that pain and getting rid of a part of yourself. This is why identification is very dangerous. Regardless if you start to identify yourself with people, with things, with outcomes. But don't worry, that characteristic is possible to train and develop. Letting yourself to be without feeling those tensions in your body that are associated with the things of the past. Imagine yourself losing your phone in the toilet and being okay with that. Observing the feelings that arise in you. The anger, the anguish, the confusion, you are pissed off. Accepting those feelings and letting them go without clinging to the emotions that you feel.
4. You don't have any dreams in your life. This one is the most complicated dilemma of all. If you don't have any dreams of your own you want to fulfill, it can be hard to find any meaning in life. After all, it's simply human nature to want things for yourself. People will always aspire to do amazing things and reach for greater heights, to constantly be better than they are. Whether it's being a professional, starting your own family, or owning your own business, any kind of dream is enough to make a person feel like they matter, that they were meant to do something wonderful with their life.
I have talked about this topic previously. Having a purpose in life or some kind of a passion is a tool for you to self-realize, self-actualize. Self-actualization at the peak of it is a very spiritual, self-transcending experience and would negate all of the material possessions that we acquire in this life. But in order to understand that, you have to have purpose that will lead you, that will guide you through all of these stages for you to understand it on an emotional level. It's like you have to develop a strong sense of ego before you can deconstruct it and transcend yourself, the ego. A strong ego is easier to cooperate with. There's no magic pill for you to open up your eyes one precious morning and realize your greatness, your immortality. You have to go through all of these stages of this physical experience that we share together.
Having something you're passionate about can keep you from feeling bored and empty all the time, because you are working towards something you find meaningful and making a positive difference in the world. At the end of the day, the only person who can help you understand the reason why you feel so empty is yourself. So, take your time and look deep inside yourself to understand where these feelings are coming from. There might be more than one reason you feel empty. The sooner you figure out what it is that's making you feel this way, the sooner you can work on resolving it.
Of course, the biggest barrier to finding out why you feel empty is us people always distracting ourselves and trying to avoid to look within. And those distractions take different forms. I've done some videos about those topics and you are welcome to browse my catalog. But nevertheless, finding a passion, something that you wake up every morning with eagerness for, and having it as a tool for your own personal development. You won't be realizing that directly, but it will be working in the background. And as you grow externally, you will be growing internally, because those two go hand in hand. Lastly, I would like to say that if you are feeling empty, good. Take a seat and ponder about why. It's a great opportunity to understand yourself, to understand human psychology. Feeling empty is your inner self calling out for a change, a real one that will give you fulfillment. And funny enough, ignoring it won't help you, because there's always one person you can never avoid: yourself. Watch this video about passion. Very important for you to not feel like a zombie. When was the last time you felt empty? What was the lesson? Tell me in the comment section. But for now, Hossein out.